there's not really a time where I can remember that I didn't know that I was adopted or that adoption was a part of my family. It just was my normal and the only thing that I ever really knew. I'm Kara Capps, and I am the coordinator of programs at Show Hope, and I was adopted from South Korea when I was 4 months old. Growing up, my parents were just always really open about my adoption. I am a transracial adoptee, so my parents and brother and grandparents, everyone in my family is white, so I think that naturally caused me to just ask more questions when I was younger of why does my skin look different than yours? Why are my eyes different? And again, I think my parents were just really great at really introducing me to my birth culture and really making it something that I could be proud of, and really proud that that's how our family was built and how the Lord chose to do that. When I was younger, my mom actually co-started a Korean play group in the Middle Tennessee area. So you get together with other local adopted families, a lot of them adopted from Korea too, but it was just a really sweet time just to get together with other kids that looked like me and had similar stories to mine, and for the parents and biological siblings or other siblings that were adopted, just to get together too, to be around people that had just similar stories and where we could really relate to each other. So I was really thankful just to have that foundation, that my parents were always so open and talking to me about that, and I think just really giving me a sense of being able to be proud of my story and where I came from and where we came from. That was really helpful for me, especially as I grew up into not just child that was adopted, but an adult adoptee, and started to have a lot more questions, especially revolved around my birth parents. It was right after I was about to graduate college, and my mom had just kind of brought up the idea of if I had ever thought about going on a birthland tour, because I think from that point I had only really thought about my life 4 months and after that, but had not really given a lot of thought to, well, what happened in those 4 months? What happened, when my birth mom became pregnant with me, and what did that look like? And so a lot of those questions started to kind of come up for me. And so whenever I went to Korea, I got to visit my foster mom, who did take care of me for my first few months, and I got to visit the hospital that I was born in, and got to visit the city that it said in my paperwork that my birth mom was from. And so it was just this amazing and beautiful trip where I just felt like I had a true connection with my first story, and where I came from, and it was really beautiful. But I came back home after that, and it was really hard, because I think that it just started to bring up a lot of questions and emotions for me that I had spent a really long time and got really good at just bearing a lot of those emotions and not really touching them. But it just kind of started a really long healing process for me for that. But going through that, I think it kind of prepared me to go and actually meet my birth mom. And so that one, it was just a dream.
그래서 알게 된 거예요. Thank you. 그래서 알게 된 거예요.
In Korea, so moms will typically make it's called seaweed soup for their child on their birthday each year. And so I got to go over to my birth mom's apartment. We cooked a meal together, but it was really important for her to be able to cook the seaweed soup for me and for my family. She explained how on birthdays that's just typically what Korean moms do, and I think that that's just an example from my birth mom's perspective of being able to recreate these memories where just for 20 plus years we never had the opportunity to have. And there are other just little things like that in the trip that she had planned that was just really special for moms and daughters in Korea. And so I think that was something that was kind of almost even surprising for me whenever we went there, of just I think just how healing of a process that was for her, and being able just to meet me and to be able to meet my parents and really be able to recreate a lot of memories that we didn't necessarily have before. just whenever I look back at my childhood, the thing that I struggled the most with is just feeling like I was worthy of being loved. And as I started to process just a lot more about my adoption story, I think just realizing the connections of that with my birth parents and how I didn't know that if I was loved by them or if they thought about me, I just never really allowed myself to even think about my birth parents or to be curious about them because I was so scared to even open up that door. Because I think that I just felt like such a deep rejection from them. And so I just didn't want to think about them because it just kind of just brought all of that up again. And so how I internalized that as a younger kid is that, well, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to reject them before they have the chance to even reject me. And so even just thinking about them, I think would bring up a lot of those feelings. But what I started to learn, and as I started just to open myself up more to my adoption and thinking about my birth parents, I think that I just started to realize that it's okay to be curious about them, and it's okay to just say that I love them. You know, like I don't have to know how they feel about me in order for me to be able to express and say how I feel about them. And it's just that I do love them. And I think being able to give myself the freedom to do that and just the permission to do that is something that I wish my younger self knew.